Hi everyone, Blaise Van Heck here at Busybird Publishing. I'm all on my own today because Les has a day off, so you'll just have to put up with me. So welcome to Publish for Profit. This is our weekly session talking about anything to do with books and writing. First of all, I want to tell you about a couple of books that might give you some ideas around how to get a product out there. Now, this is Live Your Truth. This was published December last year, and it actually has 10 stories in it, if you like, or 10 chapters. Now, the beauty of this is that sometimes people think that they don't have the stamina or time or enough content to write a whole book. So a group book, if you like, is a great idea to try your hand at publishing, and you also get literally 10 people to be the salesperson or the marketing of that book. So Live Your Truth is meant to be a whole lot of stories to inspire you. I have a chapter in here about my Camino walk last year, and we had quite a diverse range of authors as well. So Antoinette Pellegrini has put this product together. She has sourced all the writers, come up with the idea for her series. She's doing a whole series. And then we've worked with her in terms of editing and production to bring the book together. It can be a little bit of work in terms of whoever organises the stories to put it together. But in terms of being part of a product like this, it's a way in, I guess, in terms of, if you haven't published before. Also, the other beauty of that is you share the cost. So, they managed to get the bulk amount of books printed. So that was a cheaper cost, and as well as, the editing and the production and all of that kind of thing. This book is the opposite end of the scale. Heartbreak in the Himalayas by Ray Hodgson. Now, I can't remember if I actually have talked about this on one of my Wednesday sessions, but it's hot off the press. This has been written as a fundraiser for women in Nepal. It is a lot of words. It's about 400 pages. Now, this man is a doctor. He does a lot of work in Nepal. So if you have this excuse of not having time to write, and when this man, half the time when I've been talking to him when we've been on production, he's been in between surgeries. So I guess my point is, if you really want to get a message out there, you will find a way to do it. So, Ray has written this. I can't remember how many words it is, maybe up around the 150,000 word mark. It's a decent product in terms of weightiness, I guess. So that's not to say that you need to have anything of this much content. But what I'm saying is he has actually sat down to write this, and then has had to work through the editing process and layout and all of that kind of thing. So this is actually going to be launched on the 8th of March on International Women's Day up in New South Wales, and it will be a fundraiser for his team in the Himalayas. So when we talk to people here at Busybird, one of the main objections, I guess, or obstacles or even excuses for not publishing is, I don't have time. And I have to say that I've come up with that excuse plenty of times. And yet, I can spend waste lots of time, if you like, on Facebook when I could be writing. Sometimes you can be on Facebook and you can be, on your phone, concentrating on everybody, and then look up and it's like half an hour later. Imagine how much writing you could get done in half an hour. So, I was at an entrepreneurs summit on Monday, and one of the presenters was saying well, he was talking about time, and he was saying, if you think about someone like Richard Branson, who's an entrepreneur and, you know, he's big in business, he has around 400 businesses. So it just proves that if you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. Now, I know Richard Branson has always talked about having, you know, finding people to help him make, you know, obviously he can't be all over 400 businesses. And I don't tell, you know, I'm not suggesting that you have 400 books going at once or 400 anything going at once, but it's about working out your priorities, working out how to make it happen, and getting people to help you do it. So, you know, if you have a book, don't try and do everything. Do what you are good at. If you are good at design and you can design your cover, that's great. But if you're not, and it's going to take you, you know, a month to design a cover, rather than hand it over to someone who could do it quite effortlessly, that to me is a smart thing to do. In terms of, you know, sometimes people struggle actually getting it started. They have it all in their head, all of the content in their head. They have a lifetime of experience, so they have a message. They know exactly what they want to say, but they think too much about where to start. And sometimes that can be overcome by just sitting down with someone and having a conversation. It doesn't even have to be an editor or writer. It can just be, you know, at a writing group or with friends and family. We go, look, I have this idea. Can you guys help me brainstorm it? And maybe you'll get some seed of where to start. Sometimes it's worth just starting anywhere, sitting down and just starting and see where it goes. Sometimes it's good to have a bit of a plan. Write down what you want to have in the book. You know, do a bit of a mind map where you just write down, you just dump everything, all of your ideas down, and see what has similarities and what can go together into a book. Or if you really want to get it done, you know, sit with a book coach or someone or an editor or someone who's in the book industry who has a good idea about what is relevant in the industry. You know, you don't want to put a book out that there's already 20 of. Or if you do, you want to have a point of difference. So it's about actually doing a bit of homework, talking to the right people, asking questions. Even if you're just going to, you know, short workshops or seminars about writing or publishing to give you some ideas, because you're going to learn something every time. I come across so many people who have spent so much time and money to self-publish their book because they had wanted to save money and all of a sudden it's cost them 3 times as much and taken them 5 years to do it. So while it might seem, you know, having someone to help you publish might seem, you know, expensive, I think the return on investment is really worth it. You know, for a lot of our authors, quite often once they've sold 200 books, they make back their money. And then they have a product that they can keep using in lots of ways. So, you know, really time is not an excuse. In fact, when I wrote my novel, I put aside 15 minutes a day, and that was thanks to Les, who works here at Busybird Publishing. He suggested, because I was coming up with all these excuses, he suggested that I just put 15 minutes aside every day. And I got up early every morning and I sat down to write. And I actually got the whole novel done in about 9 months just by getting up a little bit earlier every morning. So it's really just about actually prioritizing your time and finding ways to do it. You know, if you really want it to get done, it will get done. And it's just about, okay, where in my working week can I find time? Where can I find, even 10 minutes? You can write a few sentences, or every time you have an idea, you write it in a book. If you're really struggling, get, on your phone, get voice memo or get a dictaphone, old school, but, you know, get something where you can record something, just talk straight into it when you have ideas, and you can transcribe them. Whether you use a transcription service or whether you use one of the apps that you can get that will transcribe your recordings, or whether you actually sit there and transcribe it. At least you're getting some content together. So, you know, that is probably one of the biggest issues that people have is, you know, I say if you run a business or you have a young family or just working full time, depends on obviously on the type of book. And you know, fiction is a lot harder. It does take a lot longer to write. Sometimes, you know, I mean, I worked on my novel for 12 years altogether, but the bulk of it was written in 9 months. So it really depends on what you're writing, but that's where you have to sit down and make a plan. And it can be done. So I haven't seen any questions here about any help that people need, but that is my advice for today, is about finding time to write and not coming up with excuses. Even if you have to get up at 5:30 in the morning to make it happen, you can make it happen really quickly. And you can always come to Bali with me, and I can really, you know, kick you up the bum. We have got, in fact, Les and I were working on the program yesterday. What are some of the things we're going to be working on? So each day we're going to have 2 modules around writing and publishing for the 6 days. So for instance, module 1 is the writing process, an introduction to who we are as writers, why we write, and good practices to attend that will help you finish your project. So that's where we talk about why we write, good writing practice, because I think if we don't actually understand why we're doing this, it's hard to reach our goal, because we'll keep kind of just going off in all different directions. And that makes it much harder to get to the end, if you like. So what else are we going to be looking at? Structure. Structure is one of the biggest issues that people have, no matter what sort of writing you're working on. And, you know, really it's as simple as a 3-act structure. I don't know if you remember when you were in high school and you were writing essays, and it would be, you know, you had to have a beginning, middle, and end. It's as simple as that. People just make it so complicated. Writing a book is not complicated. The hardest part of writing a book is actually sitting down and typing or writing, whatever, however you get the content out. It's actually just a matter of sitting there and making it happen. So many people come into us and they have this brilliant idea for a book, and that sounds great. And then you see them 6 months later, how's it going? Oh, I don't know where to start, or I've hit a wall, or whatever. And quite often that's because they haven't sat down and had a plan, or they've just been thinking about it too much and feel overwhelmed about the actual act of sitting down and writing it. So thanks for hanging out with me for these 15 minutes this morning, and we will be back next week with another topic. See ya.